everybody. Welcome to People of Interest. I am your host, Ryan T. Barlow, and you are my audience. If you're new to the show, or perhaps you just would like a refresher, let me tell you how the show works. I've written the description for three very interesting characters, and behind the scenes, waiting in the wings, I have three very interesting performers who will be performing those characters. Catch is they have no idea who their characters are, and they're not going to find out, so I'm reading it to you, the audience. Sounds exciting? That's because it is. So who's on the show tonight, you might ask? Let's find out. We've got three just wonderful performers, Steve Norris, Elizabeth Czerpak, and Nick Elmer, and they're just great. I just want to say they're just top notch. You're going to say, golly jeepers, these three were just amazing. I don't know how I lived my life not knowing who they were before now. Unless you already know them, and then you know. Then you already know. So for you, the audience, a quick reminder: if you think you can do better than me, or maybe you're just curious, feel free to type your questions into the comments section. Don't use the Q&A. Use the chat function in Zoom, and some other people can jump in and maybe they'll comment in yours. You have a conversation while you're watching the show. It's great fun. So if you have any comments or questions, put them in there. And the best ones, I'll read to our guest, and they'll answer them in character. And then it's like you're hosting the show. And what could be more amazing on a Friday night than you hosting a comedy show? I know that's how I feel. But enough about that. Let's get on with the show. And as always, before we get started, here are today's headlines.
Good evening. I'm Neil Bardhan at 66 degrees in South Philly, and I'm maybe still wearing sweatpants. President Joe Biden signed a historic $1.9 trillion relief bill on Thursday. Cash flow can be expected for small businesses like restaurants, the arts, including museums, families with children, and other entities that have faced hardships since the pandemic hit. One business specifically prohibited from receiving funds, Zoom, because they're doing fine, doing very fine. They know everything about us now, and we pay them for the privilege of talking for an hour at each other. It's great. This week marks the 1-year mark for many lives having changed as a result of the coronavirus, and it has many of us reflecting on those changes. A Gallup poll asked 1 million Americans, what's the biggest difference? And 525,600 people responded, how do you measure a year? How about sourdough? Measuring sourdough? I don't actually understand how we're supposed to answer this. Are you kidding me? Why did I answer this call? Throughout our nation, school teachers have been queuing up for vaccines so that children can return to in-person classrooms. The head of the National Teachers Union, Barry Lalomia, issued a statement in support of this priority and to address parents' concerns. He noted, it is worth mentioning at this time that teachers have taken shots for years in preparation for handling students, but normally it was from a bottle of Jameson while the kids were at lunch. For POI News, this has been your monthly reminder that we are still in a pandemic, but life is pretty funny. Good night.
TikTok supports People of Interest. At least we hope it does. That's where all the cool kids are hanging out, and we really need their approval.
Given how awful the past year was, you could forgive the Doomsday Prepper set for thinking the world is finally going to end for real this time. Well, as you know, the world did not end and is continuing on as it always has. While most survivalists have gone back to anticipating the next apocalypse, my next guest, Carter Branson, has decided he's had enough waiting and is just going to believe that the apocalypse has already happened. Branson, who built an enormous underground shelter that can safely house 250 people for approximately 20 years, is now accepting applications for people who are willing to just pretend the world ended and will join him in his bunker for the next 20 years. Branson joins us here tonight to discuss what living through an imagined doomsday will look like and what he's looking for in an applicant. Carter Branson, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Ryan. Can you speak just a little bit louder? I'm getting a little bit of bass from all the metal around the walls. Just a little bit, just something like.
Sorry, I have a very resonant voice, so I apologize for it's hitting that note in those steel beams.
It's okay. I just want to make sure that everybody around me can hear, because we are having a ball, right, everybody? They're just off screen.
Okay, sure. So, obviously, I think a lot of us were relieved that the world didn't end in 2020. But what was that moment when you were saying, "Uh-oh, this is still happening"?
Oof. Well, I think it was around the murder hornets that I took a hard break, and I thought, this is probably where things are gonna end, right? I had heard the cicadas were coming up for 2021, so I was already prepared for those. But the murder hornets really threw me through a loop, and then they stopped talking about them. You don't just bring that up and stop talking about it. So let's just say I started preparing a lot then, just all the toilet paper I can grab.
And obviously, murder hornets, I guess, didn't happen. I mean, I haven't seen one.
People keep saying they haven't seen it, but I've been safe down here with all my friends, and I just want to say that it's pretty safe away from any sort of idea of a murder hornet down here. We don't really like to talk about that sort of stuff.
Sure, absolutely. So, obviously, you hit a point where you said, "All right, this isn't happening." I feel like the normal, not normal, but I feel maybe most people would just say, "Hey, you know what? Maybe this apocalypse thing isn't going to happen. Let's, turn this bunker into a swimming pool or something." What made you just go in the complete opposite direction?
Well, when you prepare for the end of the world, you prepare for the end of the world, not the end of a big bash at someone's house like Justin Bieber's or something. You want to make sure that you have everything you need. And that starts with a big bag of beans, a big bag of rice, a big bag of toilet paper, maybe water, if you can get it. And you know what? If a pool is there, it's just there for swimming, right? You don't just go in a pool and drink from it, right? Hey, get out of the bucket! Sorry about that. It's when people start using their hands, we have to set rules.
Using their hands for?
Oh, for scooping. Oh, yeah, sorry. So we have a bucket that's just there for just like a little bit of water for when you need to just get a little bit of extra something down the drain, just to pour it. And, we don't really have a working toilet per se. It's more like a laundry chute. So I don't want them putting their hands in the water that's used for the laundry chute. Just no, they don't listen. And that's why I'm here, Ryan. I need people who will listen to me.
So how many people do you have now, and how many spaces are open? I know you can hold 250 altogether, so it sounds like you've already got a few friends in here.
Yeah, I got so many. I got Rick, Steve, I got Jason, Amy, and Rick, Steve, Jason, and Amy.
And they're friends of yours?
They started as casual acquaintances. Like, I saw them down at Aldi, and I was like, "Hey, you should come in my bunker. Things are ending." And then they were like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Don't worry about that. Things are ending." And then they were like, "I'm going to trust him." So then they follow me back, and they've been here ever since, and we've all been very, very close. Just very, very intimate.
And now you're looking to expand. So what makes the ideal candidate for the Branson bunker?
Oh, so great question. Oh, so if you want to be a candidate of this bunker, you have to, one, listen. Whether it's just like a general nod, like I heard that, or just like like maybe sign some paper. It's just like, you're good. I just want to make sure that I'm being heard. Because right now, Amy is not listening to a word I'm saying over here, and I'm trying to give a very important interview, so it's not just the five of us here forever. And then the second thing is just tenacity. I want someone here that can just, when they see something's broken, like, I'm going to go take care of that and fix it. Like, I don't want to just rely on Rick, who unfortunately, he doesn't really fix many electronics anymore.
Is Rick okay?
He's fine. He just he can't be trusted. Just can't be trusted.
So part of your pitch, you're asking people to pretend the world has ended. What are you imagining that scenario looks like? Because everyone I would have to imagine has the same sort of pretend apocalypse scenario in their head, so you guys can all agree on the facts.
Let me just make something clear. I don't pretend that it happened, right? Because it happened, right? You're speaking over there from your bunker. Everybody's watching from their bunkers, and we're all just bunkered down. And I'm just trying to make my bunker a little bit bigger and just have a nice group of people who actually appreciate me when I make a nice ziti and it doesn't end up burnt. Right? This isn't a game of pretend anymore, Ryan. This is life or death, or what's in between, just some sort of existence that's not worth even saying that you're alive or dead. And what's the point? What's the point? I don't mean to get hostile. Great. I'm sorry. It's been so exhausting.
No, hey, totally get it. So we have a question from the audience, and they're wondering who your do you have like a top 5 celebrities or that you might want to put in that you would say are bunker worthy?
Oh, top 5 celebrities of the bunker. Well, if I had to put together like a little dream team, I'd probably start with 1, LeBron James. He's the GOAT. Can't really dispute that. All those championships. 2 would be Jeremy Renner. He's got an app that just says to me, like, I'm a go-getter. I'm going to put out this app that's just all about me. And, I haven't really been on a smartphone in a long, long time, but I'm sure it's really thriving. Who else? Probably Jennifer Garner. I mean, I loved her in Elektra. Who was the guy in that role? What's his name? He's got the hair. Rick, who's the guy with the hair? Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller.
Oh,
so that would be Ben Stiller. And then I think if we had to end it, the Property Brothers. I mean, I just trust them implicitly.
So I guess we some people are wondering, if they were to come into the bunker. So it seems like you have internet since we're talking, but you don't have smartphones. So it sounds like you don't have great service down there. What sort of entertainment is available in the bunker?
Well, first off, let's not start the question with a little propaganda, Ryan. Like, the internet down here is fine. So we got a hotspot off of my Game Boy Advance, and that's working enough. So I'm getting a nice clear picture in here. So you can expect to have a nice video call for a few minutes. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's great enough for a Netflix and chill sesh. You know what I mean? Like, this is just to get by. And you know what? It's better this way. We don't need the internet anymore. We have rousing conversation, right? We have Never Have I Ever, a wonderful game. You ever played that? It's when you hold up 5 fingers and then you say things that you haven't done. And then if someone did that thing, they put down a finger. It's great. It's just great fun. It's just a lot of fun.
I gotcha. So we have another audience question. This one's a little heavy. Have you discussed with everyone like the procreation policy and what, if you start making more people, you might run out of space and resources?
Oh, that's a good question. No, we haven't really approached that sort of scenario yet. First off, number one, we fully believe in 100% consent. Unflapped, just everybody making sure that it's very clear what the relationships are between two adults who care about each other, right? But I just don't think that anybody here feels that way. We'll see what happens like down the road. But I'm just going to go ahead and say that we could really use some more people in the ranks, so to speak, and ideally people that would not mind helping sort of buoy the human race. So if you got swimmers, you can come on in. We don't have a pool, but we got a bucket.
Yeah. So, once those, babies turn into kids, how are you going to kind of keep them educated do you have like lessons plans and what's your plan there?
Well, we believe that children are best served when they're self-taught. So we normally just give them a Bible and a stick, and then we just let them go around the bunker until they just figure out what's what. So that's the way I was raised. Outside of having like a very rich family with a nice home education system, but outside of that, I was given a Bible and a stick to be raised in this type of environment. So I've always been ready for this sort of thing. Right? I don't want people like implying that I have everything not figured out because I do enough.
Sure. So, in the time we have left, do you want to make your sort of final pitch to anyone who might be thinking about joining the bunker?
Would love to. So this message goes out to everybody watching tonight that's just a little bit bunker curious. Want to see exactly what this whole deal's about. I just want to say it is just about people coming together and loving each other and loving the environment that they're in, and live music. Sometimes there's a guitar that we have. It's a little out of tune, but Rick does an amazing Google Doll slide. So, that's fun. And, food is here. It's here. We have it. We'll figure out exactly how to cook it soon. But, hey, maybe that's your thing. And if that's your thing, come on down. We really need you. Like, really. Like, really.
All right. Well, I hope this helps you get the word out. Carter Branson, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
People of Interest is supported by the NCAA, who would like to remind you that your Little Office March Madness bracket is 100% illegal. That's right. You've been committing crimes for years now, and you should be in jail. You are so lucky that you haven't been caught yet. Savor every day because you never know when the authorities will finally catch you. I'm just messing with you. It is illegal and you are committing a crime, but nobody cares. You're fine.
Under the guidance of Mayor Guy Fieri, Flavortown, USA has experienced something of a renaissance over the last 6 years. Prior to Fieri's election, seemingly no one had ever heard of Flavortown. Today, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who didn't know that it's the place where fun and food meet in perfect harmony. Well, not quite perfect, as my next guest found out. Penelope Ardente was elected City Comptroller of Flavortown in 2019, and while she initially assumed that the municipal budget of Flavortown would be fairly straightforward, what she found was something much more sinister. In a report her office released last month, Flavortown has been wildly abusing funds, including reallocating important salad resources to the already overstuffed bacon and sauce budgets, and spending obscene amounts of money on needless boondoggles like flaming hot Cheeto-crusted veal medallions with ranch dipping sauce. While Ardente has the support of the district attorney in investigating the matter, she is receiving a great deal of pushback from both City Hall and some of the more prominent citizens of Flavortown. She joins us here tonight to discuss her findings and make her case to the court of public opinion. Penelope Ardente, welcome. Oh, I think you might be on mute.
Perfect. Thank you so much for inviting me.
No problem.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really glad that I can finally get this out, and the people need to know that it's not all fun and games here in Flavortown.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say I was shocked. When your report came out and I was reading it. I mean, it was just I couldn't believe it. I mean, the amount of money that you're spending on chicken zingers. Like, I don't even know what a chicken zinger is.
Outrageous. It's truly quite embarrassing on our part. But
Are you okay?
Yeah. Well, so I'm a little concerned. It started out as just the one Guy Fieri outside of Madison Square Garden, right outside of the huge stadium in the center of New York City.
Yeah.
When the pandemic shut down, they were like, we have all this donkey sauce, nowhere for it to go. They ended up renting out, eventually owning, and eventually creating a district of Madison Square Garden, which is now where all of the residents of Flavortown reside. We have to rent it from the Knicks, which is insanely expensive.
For sure.
Yeah, it's just caused a lot of problems.
So when you started, I mean, looking at, when you're running your race, you were just kind of like, stay the course. Things are going well. I'm just going to kind of keep the books, everything's going to look good. And what was that first moment when what was the first thing you saw where you're like, wait a minute, we got to start digging here?
They started bringing in kegs of Cheese Whiz, and one or two was like, okay. But we eventually filled the entire underground with just kegs of Cheese Whiz, like ready to go.
Right.
Which was unnecessary because all of it expired in a month.
Ooh.
It was, very, very wasteful on, but what guy wants, guy gets. If you want Cheese Whiz to come with every chicken tender, you need to, I guess, buy an entire state's worth.
Right. And the population of Flavortown, I mean, it's not that many people compared to a major city or something.
Yeah.
And,
there's about 14 of us.
Yeah, and here you are spending all this money instead of the thing that really sort of took me aback is how much has been depleted from how much Guy Fieri and the other members of City Council have talked about health and safety and nutrition, and here they are slashing the salad budgets. Vegetable I can't even find. We report you couldn't even find them. At what point were you saying like, wait, this is a real danger here to Flavortown?
Mm-hmm. So in the second quarter, we were planning what the menus would be for the residents, and when they started talking about the public school lunch program, I felt like things were a little off. Once all the vegetables were gone, it was really just ketchup. It's really just a lot of ketchup, a lot of cheese, chicken fingers. They tried to do lettuce wraps. Nobody wanted that. They went just full burgers.
Oh, not even like tomatoes or caramelized onions even.
No. Just a burger.
Nothing.
On butter. You can get Cheese Whiz on it though.
Yeah, geez, can't even imagine. Oh, gee. And so you started finding these things. Did you go to Guy first and say, hey, look, something's wrong here?
No, because Guy is not to be disturbed. During the hours of 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. It's just a kitchen meditation session that he goes through. Yeah, he has a great practice. It's kind of like a foodie yogi style. But he just prefers not to be bothered by financials. And I just fall asleep too early to catch him after the yoga.
Sure.
It took a few months for him to find out how broke us. Well, we are.
Right. So, it seems like, Guy, and he's made public statements that this isn't him, that he wasn't, responsible for it. Who do you think, is it city council? Like, what have you found any evidence of like who's really sort of behind all this?
I haven't nailed it down, but I want to blame the New York Knicks.
Oh, really?
I just think, yeah, I just feel like we decided as part of the lease agreement that we would kind of cater their meals, and they eat a lot. They eat a lot.
Oh, sure.
And we order even when it's an away game. We should look at the schedule closer, but that was kind of how the Cheese Whiz situation happened. How we bought way too much of that. Yeah, they require quite a lot.
Oh. So obviously you're investigating now. You've got the district attorney is going on, but it seems like the resident, public opinion polls are not really in your favor. It seems like everyone in Flavortown, doesn't want to eat their veggies.
Yeah, it's been a bit of an outcry. We did start out with about 350 residents, and we're down to 15.
Oh.
Yeah. It takes a long time for food orders to get corrected. So if you order 60 kegs of something,
Right,
you're gonna get it before you can tell them that you only need maybe like 45 kegs of cheese.
Still seems like a lot, but sure.
Yeah, we've taken to replacing as much as we can with Cheese Whiz to kind of get some cost savings here and there. Soap dispensers, kind of the bathroom sinks. We hooked it up. It's gotten very.
Sorry, people are washing their hands with Cheese Whiz, and then using soap as Cheese Whiz.
In Flavortown?
It just feels like it does. Oh, and so people are they like showering in Cheese Whiz?
No, we have showers. We're not animals.
Oh, sorry, just washing hands.
Yes, just all the hand washing, all the soap. We filled each cup holder in the stadium with cheese as kind of like a to-go option if you're just walking around the neighborhood.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we just got to get these people to eat this cheese.
We've got a question from the audience. They're wondering if there's a swimming pool that you could sort of fill with, the cheese. Like you could take your municipal swimming pool and put Cheese Whiz in it.
So there's a secret. Underneath the stadium, there's there's like a whole infrastructure, and the Knicks have a really wonderful gym. If you go underneath the gym, there's an amazing Olympic-size swimming pool that we actually have decided to unload the rest of the cheese there. It started to overflow.
Oh.
Which is kind of when we had to start putting the cheese outside. We got a lot of pigeons. But yeah, if you want to go swimming, We have a really, really soothing option.
Well, so obviously, aside from finding places for the Cheese Whiz, what are your plans to sort of get Flavortown back on the right track?
Yes, we're not buying cheese anymore. That is completely stricken. 13 of the 15 residents are lactose intolerant because it's they came in from New York City. We got to kind of take any population that we can get. I've started kind of rallying. I tried to go outside to the sidewalk and just ask for help by everybody walking past. It's New York. 1,000 people pass me a day. Nobody talks to me when I'm sitting out on the curb. I have to think of a plan.
Yeah, that sounds like New York. It's not talking to strangers in New York is not like a thing.
Yeah, one time somebody gave me pretzels, but they actually came with Cheese Whiz, so it was a little counterproductive.
Right. So unfortunately, it's not like mustard or something,
Yeah, no. Mustard would have been fantastic.
Yeah. So what in our final time here, you've got this window to the world right now. Is there anything you want to ask for to help Flavortown?
If we could get more of those pretzels, but without the whiz with, I think we would be able to kind of mitigate the current situation with our menu plan.
Okay. And then so you could help out that and then move into a more vegetable friendly menu.
Yes, it's gonna be hard to convince. I personally do not like vegetables. That is why I moved to Flavortown. I did not move to Celery Town. We are talking with Guy about maybe some healthy options, but he's hard to get. He's hard to get to, and he doesn't really like celery either.
Sure. You could take broccoli, put ranch on it, kind of a thing.
Cheese. Broccoli and cheese.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, we could do ranch, but we do not have any more room in the budget for ranch.
Yeah, and I don't like ranch anyway.
Ranch makes you think you're eating a vegetable. Cheese, you're eating cheese.
That's true. Yeah, that is just absolutely that's just the truth right there. Well, Penelope Ardente, I wish you the best of luck in Flavortown, and I hope things get maybe a little healthier, a little less cheesy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do my best. Thank you so much for bringing awareness to the issues.
You're welcome.
Men's Warehouse supports people of interest. Oh, geez. It looks like there's a typo in our logo. It should be WARE. What? That's on purpose? Sort of a play on words? That's hilarious. Warehouse, because you wear the clothes. Too funny.
Over the course of its 50-plus years on television, Sesame Street has created dozens of truly iconic characters, including Big Bird, Grover, and Elmo. However, the show has also created hundreds of lesser-known characters, many of whom appeared in only 1 or 2 episodes before becoming largely forgotten. Well, my next guest, Lloyd Gans, hopes to shine a light on these forgotten characters with his new book, A Compendium of Sesame Street Muppets Who Were Forgotten But Should Still Be Remembered, So Let's Remember Them Now. Gans, who was a puppeteer and character designer on the show for several years, has put together an exhaustive list of characters who he hopes to save from obscurity. Characters like Two-Tone, the monster who is really into ska music but has issues with third-wave ska, and Squizzle, the monster who tries to avoid baggage fees by cramming too much into her carry-on and then ends up having to check her bag anyway because it's too big. Gans joins us here tonight to discuss why he feels it's unfair that these characters have been overlooked and why they deserve another chance at the limelight. Lloyd Gans, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Ryan. First, before we get started, you are a Sesame kid as well, Sesame Street kid.
Oh yeah, big time.
You grew up with the characters. You have favorites. You know the songs. It's part of your childhood, right? It's in you. It's ingrained. Absolutely. Yeah, it's part of Americana, and it's a shame that we're missing out on these delicious characters just because they didn't get a toy made out of them, just because they don't giggle when you tickle them, just because they didn't play the politics of Sesame Street.
Right. So, while we were sort of researching your book, one of my researchers discovered that about 80% of the characters in your book you were actually created.
Yeah, you found that. I admit I'm a prolific creator. I'm very creative. I had a lot of good ideas. I had a lot of time spent in the Muppet Workshop, cobbling together some magic, as we used to call it, some fluff and a ping pong ball, and suddenly you have a monster named Truck who has 3 families. But Truck did not take off because Truck was not made by the boss's cousin or whatever, whoever, as a made up example of what might have happened for a specific Sesame Street character.
Sure. And a lot of times, new Muppets are created to sort of tap into what kids are experiencing and sort of those events. So you have, when they introduced Rosita and, she's bilingual, in certain iterations, children who are dealing with homelessness or characters who are dealing with homelessness, characters like Abby Cadabby and Buddy the Bison, who are in a sort of a blended family. What did your characters, or the characters in this book, not all of yours, obviously, but what were they, sort of bringing and teaching to these children? If you just have a couple examples that were like really kind of touching that.
Sure. So we all remember the summer where a bunch of kids were sticking their fingers in electrical sockets, and this was all over the news. This was a problem. So I made up the character of Saki, the electrical socket, who was he looked fun to play with, but after like a few episodes of dealing with him, we learned that there's actually issues within him, and we should not deal with him. Yes, he's very fun immediately. Yes, he's very interesting, but as we dealt with the character more, maybe saw that he would be mean or say mean things to characters who weren't in the scene, we definitely lulled children in. I'm a luller of information. I like to lull children into learning. I don't like to give it all to them. I like to stack and layer the lesson, and the lesson was that Saki wasn't something to play with. It would take maybe 3 weeks, but after 3 weeks, that lesson was locked in. That was one character. We also remember when famous child performer Pee Wee Herman, not his real name, his character name, but Pee Wee Herman got in trouble with the law. He had an incident at a movie theater. So I made the what was that? I'm sorry?
Paul Rubens.
Paul Rubin, yes, Paul Rubin.
Yeah.
I don't really pay attention to the competition too much. I try to focus on my side of the industry, be the best I can be, even if I'm not playing politics. But Paul Rubin had, kids were being exposed to this. They were learning about this. So I wanted to teach kids with my character Sleeves, the trench coat. Sleeves, the trench coat looked like he could looked like you could do stuff with. He said, if you're wearing me, no one can see you doing bad things. And I wanted kids to know that wasn't true. They threw sleeves over Snuffleupagus, and Snuffleupagus stole a cookie from Cookie Monster. And everyone saw, and everyone knew and judged Snuffleupagus about that. He's still living that down. His career was hurt by that incident. So I wanted to show kids that would happen. But those are two examples. Do you want more? How many more would you like?
No, that's great. It's so great to be hearing. It's like bringing back these memories of like, oh yes, I remember that arc. I remember those moments. Yeah, watching as a kid, I have to say, in terms of just how prolific you were, like, I mean, all of these characters that you're documenting got on screen time. It's not like they were just on the cutting room floor. Were there any that didn't make the book, because they just didn't get they were shut down before they could even get on TV, or?
Oh, no. I always made sure that the character was on television. Even if the character had no lines, even if the character wasn't written into a scene, even if I would get in trouble because I had been warned not to do this because I had done this before, I would make sure the character was in the scene. There's a couple times where you can see in an episode, I think it was season 21 maybe, but there's a scene where Zoe is clearly being pushed aside out of frame by a broken umbrella with googly eyes on it. That was me. That was my broken umbrella with googly eyes. Yeah, that was a character who I named Robert because my boss at the time was named Robert.
Okay. And what was the lesson there for the kids?
The lesson with Robert was no one likes a broken umbrella.
And so the broken umbrella was pushing Zoe out of frame.
That was more just to be on camera because Zoe was taking up space on camera.
Right.
So Robert, the broken umbrella, had to push her out to be on. The editing is done so that you can't see when the Muppeteer, I'm sorry. Ugh, don't get me started on that. The Muppeteer of Rosita threw down Rosita and just ripped Robert from my hands and threw it into the trash. But that is what happened. This was before we went to tape for Sesame Street, so there's lots of live goofs and gaffes that I'm credited of, even though, is it a goof if I meant to do it? No.
Right. It might be a gaff, I guess. If it's not a goof.
It might be a gaff.
Yeah. Certainly a blooper, I would say.
I don't think it's a blooper. I think it's a blooper that they were unprofessional and threw down their puppets and ripped my puppet away. And again, episode 1, I'm not even at the point where we're explaining what the point of this broken umbrella is for. Episode 1, layers. I need weeks. To teach kids that Robert was a bad boss.
Okay, sure. So, as you're returning the spotlight to these forgotten Muppets.
That's
what do you hope to, but aside from just kind of that memory, it sounds like you want to maybe try to get them back on screen, get them back into the public conscious. Kids are still, have to be warned about the dangers of electrical sockets. Is that your end goal?
I'm not thinking about that, honestly. I'm really not. They've been on television. They've done their purpose. I would love to say that my best work is still ahead of me. I would love to say that I still have creations to make. I would love to say that even though I'm no longer an employee of Sesame Workshop, I know how to get into the building, and I know how to get all their supplies and craft my own puppets. I would love to say that. I would love to say that there's crawl spaces that I can maneuver through, and I know where the line of sight for camera is, and I know how to put a puppet that's not supposed to be in a scene there in that scene. I would love to say that, but I cannot say that just yet. Just yet. But keep your eyes peeled this season for some exciting new characters in the background, but they will be teaching you about GameStop stocks.
Oh, that's important. Are you also, you have the not so late show with Elmo and the Furchester Hotel and other spinoffs. Are you going to try to work into those as well?
Furchester, I would have to fly to London, and I do not have the means right now to get over there. They have my number as soon as they call me and pay for a ticket and give me money and let me in the building. I am there. I am there. You've heard it here first, folks. But no news yet. Late show with Elmo is a bad show, so no, I'm not involved with that. Kids don't understand what a late night talk show is, and it is an in-joke for parents. So no, I'm not involved in that. No.
Sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was
Do you
going to bring
watch
this
it?
up or not. No, I honestly don't.
Oh, well then, exactly. You like Sesame Street. You like the main show. That's
because where's the
main
context?
show.
If you're 3, you've never seen a late show, so how would you understand the format that they're parodying?
Exactly. They don't understand that Cookie Monster's doing an Andy Richter impersonation because why would they? They don't even understand. This is something I was yelling at them when I was working there. Why are we doing a Madman parody on Sesame Street? I know we're teaching them emotions, but why are we using Mad Men to teach them emotions? They're not familiar with that content. They're not familiar with that content. They know about electrical sockets. They know about Pee Wee Herman's falling out with the press in a movie theater. They know current events, but they don't watch AMC.
Right. They're not watching prestige dramas.
No, they're watching the news and they're watching Sesame Street, and that's where we need to get our ideas.
Right. So, I wasn't sure I was going to bring this up, but throughout your book, you've been very critical of some of the current characters. I think some people are kind of wondering if it's a professional jealousy or if you have sort of a legitimate complaint with some of these monsters.
It's legitimate, I would say. I think the Sesame Street fans, the S heads as we call them, the S heads, they know the inner workings, so they like to read into a lot of stuff. When they see my LinkedIn profile has been updated and I'm no longer working for Sesame Street, they make assumptions about what happened. They don't think it might have been my decision. They just know that I managed to get a snake puppet onto screen during Elmo's bath, and the snake had squiggles for eyes that was alarming children. They think that is why I might not be working there anymore. It's not. It was my decision to leave. But so the S heads like to pull details that aren't there, and I don't blame them. It's fun. It's fun, pretending you're on the inside. But no professional jealousy. I just think they're bad characters done by bad people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. What else is there?
Well, we've just got a few seconds left. Do you want to give us the quick elevator pitch for your book?
For my book, yes, it is an encyclopedic book about all these characters you know and love. I have the songs, I have all these. It's just a collection of memories that I want you to have. It's not about getting back on television. It's just about cataloging this stuff. Because I've noticed while watching old episodes of HBO Go where my character's supposed to be there, I've noticed black boxes over where my character's supposed to be. And that's not cool. These characters need to be archived. These characters are part of history, part of Americana, part of entertainment, and they deserve their place in the sun. And please buy this book. It is $400 because the printing really got me.
Sure, hard covers, totally get it. Well, Lloyd Gans, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And that's our show. Thank you so much for being here, you audience. I just love you to death. And you know what? You know how else I love? All the guests tonight. Let's bring it back out. We turned on everyone's microphones. That's real. That's real applause. Not canned. It's not royalty-free applause that we purchased. Great job, everybody. Let's take bow. Let us know what you're up to right now. So, Steve, what do you got going on?
Let's see. Not much going on. Just here to plug American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So go to afsp.org and donate to them. They're doing some great work in terms of trying to get some legislation passed and taking care of people who are having some troubles.
All right.
Yeah,
I like it. Liz, what do you got for us?
Not too much. Doing a lot of art lately, mainly. A lot of pottery, which hopefully I'll be able to start selling soon. You can follow me on Instagram at Czerpak. I'm just going to point because there's no way you're going to remember how to spell that. Look at the show post if you need another reference. Yes, at Czerpak.
Yeah, no one else had that. It's just surprising. Just saved it just for you.
Yeah. I thought there would be more demand. I guess I was the first one in my family to get an Instagram.
There you go. And Nick, what's new with you?
I am directing a show on Twitch.tv called Smoke Break Improv. It happens every month. It is really good. I'm really proud of it. The March show is this Thursday. It's this Thursday, this coming Thursday. There's going to be a show. Watch it. It's great. It's a improvised web series where it takes place at a place of work. We're on season 2, which means we're on a cruise ship. And we're getting close to the season finale, and who knows what's going to happen. We were already expecting a change for season 3. I don't know what it is yet, but things are ramping up. It's going to be fun. Come check it out.
All right. And if Neil weren't a still frame, he would tell you that he does have a show this Sunday. Yeah, the Neil pose. He has a show this Sunday with me, where we interview cool people who are doing interesting things, and Liz has actually been on the show. So how about that? We'll be having dinner with Jen Curcio, formerly of Philly, now of LA, and she's doing very cool things. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can find us and look for My Dinner with Ryan Neil PT Bardhanlow. If you just start typing My Dinner with Ryan, it'll just autofill to the rest of it. Neil and I came up with this idea for the name, and it's like you have so many. It's like bands who are just like, this was a dumb name. I don't know why we picked this. It was too late. We committed to it, so that's where we're at. So thank you guys. You were great.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Again, thank all of you for coming. If you liked what you saw here today, I know I did. I think I don't want to say anything, but we are the best looking live comedy show broadcasting out of Philadelphia. That's specifically in this format. And if you thought that looked good, you should. Thank you. So you should contact TAT Communications. And they're the ones that do this. And if you have a presentation for work or if you're a nonprofit, maybe something where a lot of people need to see something that looks nice, you should check them out because they do this and it looks great. And they did the bumper thing. They got the bumper and the logo bounce. That's new tonight. If you're a longtime viewer, you saw like, oh, that's a new feature, and we just did it great. So anyway. That was the show. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I've been your host, Ryan T. Barlow. This has been People of Interest, and I ask all of you to please stay interesting and have a good night.